Hi, everyone. Thank you, Orla, for the lovely words. It feels very modern speaking to you here from Germany. Blended event that's really top notch, and we are some of the pioneers in doing this, I think, or is it just in my mind? In a few moments, I will start sharing some information here both on the Zoom screen and I think there on your screen about the project that's called European Stories. And this one is really one of my favorite ones. We work on this project together with the Roscommon Leader Partnership. And it's such a creative and project full of potential because it touches not just one topic, it touches many of them, tourism and heritage and inclusion at the same time. Let me try it. Okay, I still am not the co-host, so if someone can just make me a co-host, I'll start sharing the screen. Before I share more details about the project, I would just like to let you know, and we don't need any slides for this, that tourism on its own is Ireland's largest, one of Ireland's largest industries, and it's even as twice as the size of the agriculture and far bigger in employment than the construction industry and the IT industry or financial services. So when I found this information, that was really huge for me to realize, and this puts such projects as the Erasmus Plus projects that work on tourism even in it gives them even a more important goal. Okay, going to start sharing the screen now. That's great. I can do it now. So let us start from the beginning. Welcome to everyone who's joining us now on Zoom. So now you can see the beautiful visual behind the project. The visual identity is as colorful as the topics are that we're dealing with and studying here with this project. So European Stories is obviously another Erasmus Plus project, and it's also researching into how language and culture can come together to tell the stories about cultural diversity, about heritage and inclusion. And the storytelling is in the focus of this project because the storytelling is really the powerful tool that we want to investigate, and we did so. And then we want to bring the results and outputs that we created and give them to all of those in adult and vet education so they can use them and so they can boost the tourism and heritage, and they can teach adult learners and give them these skills. So what we're working to do here is to bring together groups and individuals from different local communities and encourage them to create and tell stories and add value to the local tourism offerings. And then this effect and this impact goes all across EU. And we developed training resources for adult trainers so that trainers can have these tangible modules and give them to the learners. And the project outputs are being published on the project website, and you can take note of that. So it's www.eurostories.eu. Our partnership is as beautiful as every other partnership that we're working with across Europe. So you can see here that we have partners in Romania, Bulgaria, Italy, France, and two of us close partners here in Ireland, Roscommon Leader Partnership and Momentum. I already said that these facts, and you can take note maybe of these numbers, they're really impressive of how important tourism is in Ireland. And investigating what digital platforms can do and digital presence can do for tourism in Ireland, for inclusion in Ireland and heritage. That's really important. And just to prove, so I took this little snip from the tourism strategy for growth that is here until 2025 and made by the Irish Tourism Industry Confederation, where they also recognize and admit that digital platforms need to be made and respected and need to be implemented, and that the Ireland's tourism industry must develop e-commerce and all those digital skills and capabilities. So this gives a good justification for what we're trying to do here. So before we go deeper into results, let's explore the potential of digital storytelling as a tourism and heritage promotion tool. So just to kind of make things easy to understand and tangible, we know what the situation in Ireland is. Ireland is known for its tourism and beautiful sites. And so there's the offer, and there's the beauty and the heritage and all the stories behind it that's existing. And what's happened lately in the last 2 years, obviously, is the COVID pandemic. And it has done several things. First, it hit the tourism hard and stopped everything. But then it kind of boosted domestic tourism. But whatever it did, bad or good at some point, looked like that. One became sure, what do people do and how do they plan for their touristic visits? How do they plan to explore heritage? How do they find out about these stories? They plan everything on their devices, on their phones. They use the digital world to plan their life, their entertainment, to plan what they're looking forward to. And we have to be aware of the importance of the digital presence. So just to show you on a blank white piece of paper the difference that's there for an offer that has no digital presence versus the one that has the digital presence. So imagine any site or heritage site that you like, and think if it had no digital presence, it's becoming invisible. There's no sustainability in it because everything's going digital. So it's not moving digital, but it's doubling its presence in that world. And costs increase because now when you have no access to the digital audience and you're not telling your story there, then you have to tell your story elsewhere, and everything else is more expensive than digital marketing and telling stories in that area. And then you'll for sure miss some opportunities. You might miss the foreign visitors, for example, or you might miss a certain target group or population. On the other hand, if you're there in the digital world with your story, you will have wider reach. You will have a chance to even build a sustainable online community and your brand. Costs will drop, new markets are there at the palm of your hand, and innovation is also there. So this is what we want adult learners to take from their trainers. Another just a kind of visual representation of what happens without the digital storytelling is that, for example, this lovely Glencairn location would be just another place on a map, maybe on the route N16. And if it's along your way, you would visit it, but maybe you wouldn't have so many chances to plan it. There wouldn't be branding of the smaller landmarks around it. And then people who live off tourism and showing the heritage would have no ways to measure the success. They wouldn't have the feedback that they get through the digital world. And I didn't want to take the big website or show it to you. I wanted to take something that someone here in this, in that room that you're sitting in has done. Our lovely colleague Val Robus has, on her own initiative, made Love Leitrim hashtag, and then Love Roscommon, Love Sligo, and all of those hashtags. And what hashtags do, if done properly, they can start a trend. So that's what happened on Twitter. So then many Leitrim sites were positioned on Twitter recently because of that hashtag. So there you go, a bunch of visibility. Bunch is not a good word. And then TripAdvisor, I took these German reviews on purpose, just so you see what happens when you're out there digitally. Then someone from Germany might notice and give a good review. And look at this, 548 reviews. So telling stories digitally is not necessarily just a tourism alternative. It shouldn't be an alternative at all. It shouldn't replace what we do physically, but it should be a complementary function. So it should boost the physical activity. And then when times like COVID come up, hopefully they'll never come again and they'll just go away. But when something like that happens, you still are not disappearing. You're still out there with your story, just digitally. Sorry, there's a little misspell there, but what we also see as a potential in the digital presence is alternative for the entertainment world. So think Netflix and social media, when people are mindlessly scrolling down, if we offer them virtual tours, for example, and that's what's happening lately, that will become their way of entertainment. And then if they like the virtual tour, when they're free of their quarantine, for example, they might just come and visit the site. So that's the potential of the entertainment in the digital storytelling. So EU Stories investigates all of these examples and gives outputs that you can all start using really straight away to educate yourselves, educate your community, and help boost the tourism, heritage, and all of that industry in an inclusive way. And the fact that this project reaches countries across EU and investigates languages as well gives it another value. So European language stories curriculum would be your way to go if you need resources to teach your adult learners. The European Enterprise Story Study would be your resource to go to generate local tourism microsystems, because it shows you exactly how to do that. And then the Digital Stories Toolkit, I have to say, it will be our favorite today because we worked on it. Our team worked on it the hardest. So we'll showcase that one for the limited amount of time today. So this one actually gives useful tools in your hands if you have a story to tell. Even if you're not a worker in these industries, you might have a story to tell about a certain location, and you might want to help your community be in the digital world, and using these tools can help you do exactly that. I will actually take you to the website for the toolkit list straight away. Let me just escape this presentation mode. So if you visit the project website, eurostories.eu, you will see the wonderful website there that explains this project into detail. If you go to resources, then you can open from the resources to the toolkit, another explanation of what it does, but then this very handy set of categories here will help you decide what kind of story you want to tell. Is it a video story? Do you want to go into VR and all of that, virtual reality? Do you want to do graphics, social media? Are you that creative that you want to do video game or something like that? So when I click the script here, I'm just worried about my broadband, so I won't click it now, but this is what opens, and this is how the toolkit tells the little story behind each tool and helps the storyteller use the tool. So it's a little intro about the tool there that you can expect, a video on how to use it, really clear instructions how to start using it and what you can do with it, and how to subscribe. All of these tools are either very, very cheap or most of them free to use. So we really invite you to come and explore the toolkit. You might be more of a graphic storyteller and you might want to use Canva. I'm sure everyone heard of it, but sometimes people think it's tricky to use. So our toolkit really helps you become a storyteller. basically that would be it. If there are any questions at this point, I'm open for questions. If not, I believe we can welcome Valerie, but I'll just wait for a little bit if any questions start appearing either in the chat. And nice to see you in person. So feel free to kind of tell us about yourself and about the arena mining experience. And I would love to hear about the empathy side of things from you. I won't say what it is before you do.
Good morning to you all. My name is Valerie Stenson and I'm the manager of the Arena Mining Experience in County Roscommon. The Arena Mining Experience is a community-inspired tourism initiative that was born. The idea was born in 1990, but the centre finally opened in 2003. The Arena area would have a 400-year mining history, which all ceased in 1990 when the local generating station stopped generating electricity. They were taking 1,000 tonnes of coal a week at that time, so they were taking most of the coal from Arena. So when they decided to pull out of Lough, that was the death knell for the mines in Arena. At the time, in the war years, there was over 500 people employed in the mines, but in latter years, when it closed, was about 250, which caused huge devastation in the area. As I said, the Arena Mining Experience is a community-inspired initiative established in 2003 with the aim of preserving and protecting the mining heritage of the region for generations to come. We took a disused coal tunnel in the area, which is in a beautiful scenic location overlooking Lough, and this was turned into a show tunnel with the aid of government funding and funding which was raised locally by the local community. The visitor centre is located, as I say, overlooking Lough. It's now a very popular tourist spot. The aim is to preserve the 400-year mining history, which is what it is doing. But the main, I suppose, unique selling point of our attraction is that all our tour guides are ex-miners. So you're getting first-hand experience of their life having worked underground. Before you go on tour, there's a short DVD presentation, which was this original footage on this presentation that was taken in 1990 before the mines closed. So you're actually seeing how the mine worked, the dreadful conditions and precarious conditions that the miners worked in at that time. The DVD presentation, we have a great photographic exhibition also and an exhibit area. The highlight of the visit, without a doubt, is the underground tour, usually like 40 minutes or so. But the experience is really brought to life because there's atmospheric lighting and sound effects which add to the reality of the experience. It's not a polished tour. You very much see the conditions that the miners worked in. However, it is delivered in such an empathetic way. The guides lived it, they worked it, they breathed it, and probably their fathers did as well before them, and their grandfathers. It's very much a generational thing in Arena. It is a fascinating insight into the life of a miner, and the story of their lives is very realistic, it's emotive, and as I said, it's brought to life very much so. The guided tour immerses the visitor into the working conditions of the miner, and the visitor gets to walk in the miner's shoes. They get to feel and understand the perilous working conditions of the miner. They get the sense of danger that was there. There's actually a simulated explosion just before the end of the tour where the lights dim for about 20 seconds. And there's, as I say, a simulated explosion. The lights go out, you can hear the rumble of the detonator, and that really adds to the reality of it. For very many visitors, it's a very emotive experience when they see the narrow spaces that the miners worked in, or the pools of water where the miners lay to do their day's work. As I said earlier, there's an audiovisual presentation available to visitors before they go on the tour, and that has the original mining footage. People even get very emotive looking at that footage, but then when they go in and they see the narrow seams of coal, and the seams in Arena, the seams of coal were 18 to 22 inches in height, which meant that there was a hell of a lot of rock to move before the miners actually got at the coal. So there was backfilling to support the ceilings in the mines. The conditions were really very bad. Any of you that haven't done it, I'm sure a lot of you have in the region. but please do come and do it at your leisure. We're open all year. We close for about 5 days at Christmas, and it's well worth doing. And naturally, I'd be biased anyway. But to add to the experience, we had a group of ladies called the Manana Manidori for a number of years who came to the museum on a Sunday. They'd come for 2 hours. The Manana Manidori were the miners' wives. So they came and shared their experience of being miners' wives and of living in a mining community for years with the visitors. They just sit in a table in the coffee shop, and as people came out of tour, they sit and have a chat with them or whatever. Now, unfortunately, many of the women we've lost them in the last number of years. They were big ages in their 80s, but we have recorded them. We have their stories for posterity's sake, and that was another string to our bow. But I suppose our one plan going forward is we have most of our former guides taped and recorded doing their stories, telling their stories. This is the importance of digital transformation. Planning.
If I may just ask you, Valerie, where do these recordings then go to? Where can we expect to find them in the future?
Well, sorry, originally when we took them, Sanya, they were on DAT tapes. That'll tell you probably before even a lot of you were born. DAT tapes were kind of pre-1990.
I remember.
Do you remember?
Yes, of course.
So we got them transferred, actually with the help of a leader grant a number of years ago, we got them transferred to CD about 10 years ago. And we've actually have an audio-visual exhibition as well, Sanya, in the exhibition space, and we have the ladies recorded. So that's there for posterity's sake. That is available to people to see at the moment. We have some of our former guides that have retired too, recorded doing elements of the tour. So it's the importance of keeping the whole history and heritage of a Rigna mining experience alive. That's our aim. And please God, going forward after my time, that it'll be there for posterity's sake. But we're always looking for new ideas as well as how we can put it out there. We're looking more at social media as well, definitely over the last couple of years, and are using social media an awful lot more. But digital storytelling is the way forward. As we have the short introductory video in the exhibition space before the tour, we have videos on YouTube, and the actual video presentation of the original mining footage. That's so valuable to have. Somebody had the foresight, thankfully, in 1989 to 1990 to go in with a very amateur recorder and take the footage. But we got it enhanced and we got it improved over the years. And again, that short DVD is only 15 minutes, but it really gives you an essence of what life was like in the mines. And that's what it's all about. It's about us maintaining it, preserving it, protecting it for generations to come. And the only way forward with that is digital technology. And I would be the first one to put my hand up and say to you, I'm not digitally experienced at all, but you have to kind of, you pick bits up as you go along. I'm lucky the staff are great, and you always have a lot of expertise in the area as well, people willing to help you to preserve your history, so don't let that stop you.
You were pioneers as well in that. So very early on, as you said, now you recognize that transferring things to digital, even though that was not called digital back then, I think, but transferring things in that kind of preserved way was the way to go. And so in a way, you were pioneers, and as I can see, you plan to continue down that road.
Very much so, Sonia.
With digital stories.
Very much so. Well, I mean, the digital story is so powerful. It's so powerful. It persuades the brain and the heart. Like, we have people crying before they even go on tour. That wasn't our aim, and it wasn't our aim at all. But we had women, local women years ago when the museum originally opened, they came in and seen the conditions that their husbands worked in or that their fathers worked in. It actually was very emotive because women would never have seen the inside of the mine, until we would preserve the tunnel and that. But it certainly is worth doing. I hope we do come along and see it soon. And definitely digital storytelling is the way forward. So we all move with it.
Sorry, congratulations on your new website. It's absolutely stunning.
It's
The video is, I think the comment came up there in the chat, it's just beautiful.
Well, we only actually did that during lockdown. It was one of my projects that was on as we all have a list that we have to work on. And it certainly was and it takes an awful lot of work, a huge amount of work to get the content right and everything else. But we've also moved towards the booking online. We did it for our Santee experience. We've been in Santee for about 17 years now. Santee Underground at Christmas. We didn't do it last year. We don't know about this year as yet. but we had been doing it on that kind of a basis, the Christmas experience. But now on every single page, it's book now. There's no, you know, just to remind you the trigger, the action word to book now. But the company that we dealt with for doing the website were fantastic. They were just brilliant. And it was with Fall to Ireland funding, with the thanks of Fall to Ireland funding that we were able to do it. Because you, as a lot of you know, when you're doing websites, you can do them on a maybe a smaller, concise basis, but they cost a lot of money to get the professional photography done. There's a beautiful gallery of photographs on that, of old black and white photographs that I gave the web developer, but there's also some new imagery that was taken by an award-winning photographer, and the imagery is beautiful. So
I won't show it. I won't show it because I want people to go and find it themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes in 5 minutes, go in and have a look at the gallery. It's well worth looking at, you know.
I won't do the work, but thank you so much, Valerie. And just to kind of once more conclude how important storytelling is, I'll tell you, I moved away. I moved out of Ireland before I had a chance to actually visit this experience and do it myself. Hopefully I'll do it. But I've done some case studies on this, and everything I've learned, I learned from the online and digital stories that you have put out there. And now I know a lot about it, even though I pronounced it wrongly, but I know a lot about it. So that's how important the work is that you're doing also in this online zone of the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you.